Hello and welcome to Game Theory. I'm your host, Sam Vecenie. Today, we've got another film room session, this time with potential number one overall pick, Donovan Clingan. Listening to Donovan talk about drop coverage defense and passing and playmaking for a big is one of the really, really fun things I've gotten to do this cycle. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. Truly just a 7'2" monster who is capable of playing at an exceptionally high level on that end of the court while also just being like this really awesome human being off the court. But first, let's hit the music.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Way downtown.
Bang! Bang! What's this gonna be? Wow! Are you kidding me?
Hello and welcome to the Game Theory Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Vecenie. But if you watch the tape, what you will see completely orchestrated this game. All right, here now with Donovan Clingan. Donovan Clingan is the 7'2" center for the national championship winning Connecticut Huskies. Does that still feel good? When I talked to Cam Spencer, he was still pretty pumped about it. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, it feels great for sure, especially 2 in a row. It's something that, I'll remember forever.
So Donovan is a potential number one overall draft pick this year. So I'm really excited to get a chance to talk to him and break down tape. But before we do that, I think where I want to start is just your journey in basketball, because you have this really interesting, complex kind of start in the game where, you weren't a guy that was on like significant AAU circuits for like the biggest ones, right? Like, and you were a kid that I know that when you were younger, you were definitely a little bit heavier, right? And then you get to Connecticut and kind of slim down. So can you kind of explain your journey within the game of basketball for people that may not be as familiar with you?
Yeah, during my high school career, I stayed local, played for public school, Bristol Central, had a great coach, great people around me, supporting me, and, just decided to be loyal, stay home. And, I was getting offers from colleges. I was getting looks. I was playing on an independent circuit AAU team out of Boston, Team Spartans. And Coach Hurley came to the gym one day in Bristol, saw me work out for a couple minutes, offered me a scholarship. From there on out, we built a great relationship, and, he really just, persuaded me to, come be a Husky.
And can you explain real quick, like a big reason why you stayed local? If I remember correctly, I believe it has something to do with your mother, and like, just explain, because I think it's like a really amazing reason why you decided not to go to like a bigger school like that and kind of get more exposure.
Yeah, my mom went to the same high school that I went to, and she held a lot of records there. Scoring, rebounding, blocks, wins. All those types of records. And I feel like I wanted to put my name next to hers and above hers, and so that was something that was really special to me, and that was something I wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really fun, amazing, decision that you made, I think, to honor your mother and be able to do that and, have your names together like forever in that school's history. Let's just kind of jump in and talk about basketball now. Let's just do it and kind of dive in and discuss, I think, what makes you such a special player, because you are truly an incredible basketball player, and you have been now for 2 years.
Appreciate that.
You sat, behind Adama Sanogo last year and, played, 13 minutes a night. And, basically the first time I felt like I saw you on the court, I was like, oh no, that's a dude. Right. And a big reason why was just your ability in drop coverage. And what I thought was so impressive about your time at Connecticut was that you guys played 2 distinctly different styles your freshman year between you and Adama. Like, you guys would really show and recover when Adama was out there. And then with you, it was like drop coverage. Did you kind of have to learn at first when you got there, like how to show and recover? Is that the plan that was going on initially? Or was it just like, no, we have this dude who's 7'2", we're just going to drop?
Yeah, I mean, Coach, I feel like just was trying to see the best coverage for me, and was trying to, see the best way that I'd be impactful on defensive end. And, after he figured that out, I feel like, I just learned the best way to, use that high flat type of, maybe kind of like in that drop coverage that I was in, and, really just finding ways to improve that and, keep getting more active and having hands in the passing lane. And, it was something that we worked on in practice every day. So, coach really helped me develop in the ball screen game for sure.
So let's just like kind of jump in here and talk about, what makes you special. So this one here, when you see someone coming off of a ball screen, right? And this one, you're playing like above the free throw line, right? Like you're not even in like the full scale, like deep drop here. When you see somebody coming off of a ball screen, what is kind of your plan of action and what are you seeing on the court?
I feel like, I'm trying to read two things. It's what kind of player the point guard is. Is he a guy who's going to come off the screen, look to shoot, a step back three, shoot the midi, or is he a guy that's, looking to attack? In this situation, Jaden Pierre was a guy who, shot the ball at a high level, someone that, could get to the rim, but also, he liked that mid-range game. So I had to be a little bit higher with a, high hand. And, for me, guarding Josh Aduro, he was, he popped for the three. He didn't consistently shoot it, but, so I had to kind of be up a little bit so I could return back with, a high hand if he had a shot. But, really reading just, how Tristan's guarding, if he's too far off on, Jaden's hip, do I have to stay for a step longer? Something that we always talk about is, making sure that the roller doesn't get behind you. And, you can't let the point guard get all the way to the rim. We're trying to force like 1 foot floaters, from that like Big East logo area or, from further out. Really just try to keep active hands without the roller getting behind you for a lob and being able to get back to the shooter.
Yeah. And one thing you do here, I'm really glad you bring up the hands, right? Like your handwork here, like this isn't even like one of the like truly amazing possessions for you, but like look at your hands, they're wide. Then you got hand like over the top of the ball here, right? Like you're trying to disrupt Pierre. You're still backpedaling, right? Your back pedal is awesome. That's definitely one thing I want to talk about here in a second. But the hand there, it's just right over the top of the ball. You're not letting Adoro get behind, and you're just forcing this play. Like this to me is as much your steal as it is Steph's, because
Right.
just look at all of the activity here that you're giving, and you're making it so that Jaden Pierre has nowhere to go, and you're giving Tristan so much time to be
Right.
able to recover and get back. I've talked to your coaching staff about the work that you've done in terms of your hand placement more than anything, right?
Mhm.
How important is it to have those active hands for you whenever you're in drop coverage trying to disrupt what a ball handler is looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my freshman year, I kind of had more hands down on my side,
Yep.
not really nearly as active. And my sophomore year, having these active hands makes it difficult for the guard to make certain reads. Take away passing lanes, take away certain areas where you think he can go to with the dribble, and it makes it easier to have a quicker reaction time. Going to block a shot. It's easier to just put my hand right up if it's already up, and rather than coming all the way down from the side of my hips, not have my hands up. So really just having active hands really to be ready for anything, be ready to catch the ball, be ready to have a block. And, it really kind of throws off the ball handler.
Yeah, and we can kind of move forward with a few of these clips, right? So again, this one like super active hands, right? And this one's even a little bit more complicated because obviously they're setting like this little like veer screen here. They're going to set the first screen here, I think that might be with Barnheiser. Then Barnheiser's going to go over and set a screen for Boo Booey, who you have to be
Right.
connected to all the time. So how are you kind of looking at this play as it happens, where you are almost like dealing with an off ball, like empty kind of action off of the veer?
Right here, it's really try to, Boo Boo is a great player. He was, knockdown shooter. He was, number one on our scouting report. So you're trying to be a little bit more aggressive in the, in the off ball screening game and the ball screen game with him, just because he was looking to really score and attack. So coming off of that wide pin for me, it was don't let him just come off for an easy step in shot, and don't help too much so that the roller gets behind you for an easy dunk. So right here, just coming off having active hands, try to give Steph some time to get back, but I feel like he got too far away, and Steph and I both realized we had to switch that. Steph got back, and I forced him to take a tough mid range.
So this is from the Illinois game, which honestly, I think for my money, it might have been the best game I saw from a prospect this year. Just point blank, like what you did to just completely shut down Illinois. Were you surprised that they just continued to drive into you in the way that they did?
Yeah, I mean, they just kept coming in the lane, and I was like, I don't even know how many blocks I was trying to go for the triple double, but couldn't get it done.
Yeah, like it wasn't even the blocks, like it was just even the contests, right? Like every single time you
Yeah, I
were just
mean, I feel
available.
like that's the biggest thing. I feel like in the beginning of the year, I was getting a lot of foul trouble, just swinging my arms and coming down, and when they're going up for layups and getting these cheap fouls, putting myself on the bench. And I feel like, the coaching staff, Coach Murray, Coach Hurley, just reminding me constantly that, a tough two that they make is better than, a foul for you that puts you on the bench. We need you on the floor. So for me, it was, just having my arms straight up, jumping straight up without, making contact, fouling, and making them try to, finish these tough twos without putting them at the free throw line. And, if they make the tough twos, tip my cap, because, it's more valuable with me on the floor.
Yeah, definitely. And this one here, you've got Terrence Shannon coming downhill at you, right? And Terrence is an athlete. Like he's gonna really be able to try and turn that corner on you. How do
Mhm.
you look at this when you're, this is a high drop, right? Like you're basically at the level here, or at least at the 3-point line.
Mhm.
It's at least like a catch drop, right?
Right.
How are you working on trying to stop this player here, Terrence Shannon, from turning the corner on you, knowing that he's just faster than you at the end
Yeah.
of the day?
Um, for Terrence Shannon, really, I feel like the game plan, we all knew that when he comes off a ball screen, he's looking to attack. He's very strong, he's got a lot of length, he's athletic, he's very quick. So, coming off those ball screens, I feel like we knew that, he was always going to attack. So, I was just trying to force him to, you know, towards that baseline, that sideline, without letting him get middle, and really just trying to wall up and contest and make him, shoot a tough shot over my length. And, really just, I knew that he wasn't going to look to pass that, especially with Haas being so far behind. I saw that he was just attacking me. So I really wasn't worried about getting back to the pop. And, I knew I just had to protect the rim at a high level there.
The other thing you do here that I think is interesting is you utilize this crossover step,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's something that, some bigs are comfortable with. Some people aren't super comfortable with in drop just because, a lot of dudes are bigger, right? But you're mobile and athletic enough to be able to do it. How did you go about improving this back pedal? Because like, it was funny. I was talking to, your coach yesterday. I was talking to Luke and he was like, yeah, he still gets like a little bit high in his back pedal because Luke's always going to be a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
But like, how did you work on improving your back pedal within this drop? Because I think that it is really, really important to note that you've gotten so much better at it. And I think that athleticism, mobility is just such a critical part of your game in terms of being able to cut off those drives and stop people from turning the corner on you.
Mm-hmm. I feel like in practice, just really trying to work on getting as high as I possibly can in the ball screens, and really working on trying to stay in front of the guard and move my feet. Someone that in the NBA like Rudy Gobert, who is very good at switching on to those guards, the way he changes direction and stays in front of the ball and could just quickly move his feet is something I pay attention to. And really just, for me, it's just trying to stay in front of the ball without fouling. Really just protect the rim at a high level, don't foul, and make the guard, make the big, take a tough shot. And right here, I just try to stay on my feet and be the second guy off the floor, and don't come down and swipe and foul him.
Yeah, and like, I'm glad you brought up Rudy because he's another guy that does that crossover step, right? Like he's willing to do that in recovery, especially to be able to get back into the play. This one here against Seton Hall, right? And we'll kind of start to zoom through these. I love how you navigate the Spain action, right? Like you kind of see it coming from behind here, that you've got this man coming, and this isn't easy for a big guy, right? Like so many dudes get clipped and you're able to just stay in recovery, absolutely erase the shot. This one here against a pretty good player in Aaron Estrada, you're there and help. And it's, to me, the shots that you completely dissuade from happening. It's not even the blocks or the contests. Like
like right
this
here.
one. Yeah, go ahead.
Like right here, Coach Hurley, Luke, all the coaches really, like, they really emphasize, if you see someone like that getting all the way downhill, like right here, Strada gets to the rim. You see that he's all the way underneath the basket, and he hasn't gone for a layup yet. I just try to retreat back to my man with hands. He's underneath the hoop. It's hard for him to take a shot. So all the coaches are like, if you see him that far under the hoop, he doesn't need help. If he shoots that and makes it, it's a tough shot. He's underneath the hoop. So once I see him get that low, it's just trying to retreat with active hands and get back to my man and make that a tough pass.
Yeah, like your impact around the basket is just so serious in that way. And I love how you just know how to stay big at the end of the day. Like, you're not afraid to use your length and use your size. Like, you understand how big you are. Like, was that ever a difficulty for you? Like, as
Yeah,
you
I
were
feel like
growing up?
in high school a little bit, just understanding, how strong, I could play and how big I really was.
So, as we kind of let this play run out, you're going to end up getting into another ball screen situation, perfect in drop, end up blocking this shot. The other thing that you do super well is you take away the pocket pass, right? Like, you're constantly trying to dissuade multiple pieces of it. You're dissuading shots at the rim. You're in this pocket, which is like this, not necessarily this angle, but the one that we just got here, right? Like, this could very easily be like a pocket pass if your hand isn't like right there, right? But because your hand is available and active there, you're kind of cutting this off. And Adoro, as you mentioned earlier, like, guy that can shoot that mid-range shot, can shoot out from three. Your ability to just do multiple things at once, I think, is what's really, really impressive. Like, from a processing perspective on the court, like, how much is going through your mind, I guess, as you're trying to like stop all of these things from happening at once? Like, it's a lot of, you're doing like 4 separate things, and that feels complicated, right?
Yeah. Really starts from, is our point guard whipping the ball screen, or is he going over, realizing, how high up I have to play. Like right here, he's going over, so I have to be a little bit higher. If he's whipping it, I can play a little bit lower. Then, coming off the ball screen, is my guy a pick and popper, or is he a guy that's looking to roll? And then after that, it's all right. It's how long is it going to take for Tristan to get back in front of the ball? And then I also at the same time cannot let the roller get behind me. And so I play this, like Coach Hurley always says, Luke always says, like this cat and mouse game where, you try to force, Pierre here to take a tough floater off 1 foot, or, that tough midi. Don't allow him to get that pocket pass to Adoro. Also, don't let him get to the rim. So right here, I cut it off. I get to the rim. I see Steph helps. And then, he's just able to get in the passing lane. But, me being in the way doesn't allow him to see, Aduro coming down the middle of the lane, and then also doesn't allow him to get, a basket at the rim.
So this next one here, I mean, this is where we kind of start getting, oh no, I thought this was going to be a help defense one, but this one, again, you're just like completely dissuading a shot at the rim, right? To me, this is just as good of as a block at the end of the day, right? Like, is that how you guys think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him go all the way downhill. I stay attached to the ball because I had him, pretty handled. As he was getting down towards the rim, Tristan, veered off and helped my man. And then as, he attacked, passed it out. Tristan saw that. I saw it. He went back with his. I went back with mine, and we just kept playing.
So next one here. This one's like almost more at the level, and then you're recovering. How comfortable are you kind of out at the level and having to be able to guard out in front of the 3-point line? Like, both of your feet here are above the 3-point line, right? So how comfortable do you feel kind of out front like that?
I feel very comfortable, being able to move my feet, have active hands without fouling. And, here, like I said earlier, Boo Boo was a guy that we knew was looking to score. He was looking to be aggressive. And, that big he was looking more just set screens, get Boo Boo open. So, I played a little more aggressive coming off to help Steph. And I was able to retreat and have active hands and be able to protect the rim there.
Yeah, and then this one here, I think this one is, I'm trying to remember as we kind of go through it, this is going to be a help possession, right? Okay, so when you're in help situations like this, what is going through your mind, just point blank?
I'm reading to see if Cam and I think that's Tristan. Yeah, Tristan switch, if they switch or not. If Cam's on that low hip or Tristan's on that low hip, if the guy's popping or is he rolling. I'm also thinking, who am I guarding? Is the guy, popping back for a three, or is he rolling? Is he a guy who's looking to really be aggressive and score? In this game, Pringle really wasn't too aggressive to score. And I knew, Nelson was one of the top scorers, one of the guys who was looking to be most aggressive. So, I saw that Tristan was a little behind on the switch, and, I had to come over and help him protect the rim.
Yeah, that's something you guys did super well. Obviously, you guys utilized you as more of a like help side defender. You utilized you as like okay, we're going to put Donovan on the opposing team's like worst offensive player on the court potentially, and just let him roam around. Right? How did that role develop for you over the course of the season?
Realizing that, just trying to protect the paint, protect the rim. I'm really just following whatever game plan that coaches wanted me to do. I was willing to guard whoever. The Illinois game, I started on Ty Rodgers because he wasn't really a big shooter. It was a guy who's looking to, get to the rim, finish in the paint, a guy who's looking to rebound the ball. So, I feel like that was the best matchup. And, really just trying to help on the weak side and just protect the rim, just trying to be an elite, shot blocker, rim protector. And, coaches had a great plan, and I was just following it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like NBA style, right? Like at the end of the day, that's something NBA teams are going to utilize you within as well. This is again just like a beautiful help side block on Boo Booey. You're there active again, rebounding the ball. This one, you're available. Second jump ability, right? Like you're just showcasing kind of everything that you could want to see from an elite level rim protector at the end of the day. And that's truly what you're going to be like, even in the NBA, I think. Like you are somebody that's going to be just like an extremely high level rim protector. Let's go to the offensive side of the court now, though, because this is where I think you have like significant upside. I often kind of got this feeling, and I'd just be interested to hear from you on it. It felt like the court was like almost too small for you at times, where like you were just so condensed and packed in the lane. Like even you guys had like immaculate spacing, but it's just like so much more of a tightened offensive zone than what you'll see in the NBA game. Did you like kind of feel that at times, like cramped in that way?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, just all the help, all the, activity in the college game on defense, everyone's, active, everyone's all over the place, and the help and the, in those holds. So, for me, I feel like sometimes it was a little bit compact, but really just trying to be active and move around more, being more ball screens, roll to the rim, and, just try to be active and move people around, which, opened up some spacing for me.
The other thing you do here is we kind of run through clips as we talk about this, right? Like, I think you catch exceedingly well out of your area. Like this one from Cam here, like he has to throw this a little bit behind you and you're able to just go up and like snatch it, right? And you make these awesome like below waist catches as well that I think are really, really impressive. Like you're going to get a DHO here, and this is like a bounce pass below the waist and you just go up and dunk it. How did you go about developing your hands in terms of being able to just like be available for your ball handlers to be able to throw you passes from multiple angles?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in practice we did a lot of skill work. Luke worked with us bigs and, just throwing different passes, different speeds, different angles, different, just throw high, throw it at your feet, throw it, you know what I mean? Just working on our hands. We work on it in the weight room. We work on, just all different types of things. Just try to, for me, just trying to work on being better at catching the ball, rebounding the ball. It helps with so many different things, blocking shots, not fouling, so really just trying to work on my hand speed, work on, my strength, and, it all paid off.
And then this one here that we're watching, the other thing that I thought you really improved with this year was finishing with the left around the basket. Like you looked very, very comfortable being able to, catch here. You keep it relatively high, like you bring it down at the end, but then you gather and then you make that step and you finish with the left. These aren't easy finishes for dudes your size. Like these, a lot of guys, they go up with the right. And I think like sometimes you'll tend to go up with the right if you can, but this is like a little tight ball screen here into a rescreen. This is a sweet little floater hook shot. Like your touch with both hands is really impressive. You can go out to that like 8-foot range, certainly. I guess my question here is like kind of weird and silly as we kind of go through it, but How did you go about developing that touch with both hands? Because like for some guys like your size, it's not super natural. Is it just something that's always been natural for you, or did you really have to work on that?
I feel like I really had to work on it. Sometimes I feel like my left hand's better than my right at times, but
Yeah.
really just every day in practice, we really work on it. We're working on the left hand all the way around the paint, working on the floaters with the left, floaters with the right. Really just trying to be ready for whatever you need to do. Left hand, right hand, just because there's really good shot blockers out there, people that can protect the rim at a high level. So you have to be able to finish with both hands, be able to consistently finish with both hands at a high level. And it's something we work on practice every day. Something I always worked on getting extra shots up is I always start off in workouts and working on that touch, working on the right and the left, just because you got to be able to do it all.
The other thing I want to talk to you about is screening, because I'll probably get yelled at if I don't. You improved drastically as a screener this year. Like I thought that by the end of the year, you were one of the best screeners in college basketball, just point blank. Like, look at this one here. You're going to drill this dude. Is that Cam Jones maybe coming off the screen following Cam Spencer?
Yeah.
And you're going to roll the rim. You're going to finish there. This one here, you're going to go do like this little tight screen here for Tristan.
Steph.
Yeah. Steph there. And then you're going to go and like rescreen into like almost a step up here. It looks like by the end of it with how you're getting into it.
Right.
How did you go about improving your footwork? Because I was told it was, it's not that it wasn't natural for you at all. Like you were really good with it, but it was just, it's a process for guys to really learn, I think, all of the different crafts and how to develop that synergy with your ball handler. Right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Coach Luke and Coach Hurley really emphasized, Coach Kamani, all the coaches really just emphasizing, sizing the guy up, just try to line up his shoulder with the middle of your chest and, brace and hold the contact for, because guys are strong, they're going to run through screens. So really just bracing, holding, having a strong, heavy chest and without moving your feet, shoulders width apart. And really just trying to have a type of an angle where the guy can't go under. That's something I feel like Luke and all the coaches really told me was, screen him on an up angle so he really can't go under. He has to go over, which gives the guard time and space to make multiple decisions.
And we keep bringing up Luke because he's the guy that works with the bigs at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And how funny is it that Luke is like my height? He's like 5'10", and he's the guy working with the bigs.
Hey, he knows what he's talking about, man. I'll tell you that.
He does. So this one here, like, this is a great example. Like, I kind of want to talk about just like the synergy that you had here with like Tristan and with some of your other ball handlers, right? Like, how do you go about developing that and having that like almost nonverbal communication where you figure out what exactly Tristan wants and what he's trying to accomplish within a drive, trying to get an angle, kind of things like that?
Yeah. Tristan really wanted to come off to his right hand, get downhill. I feel like, Tristan was the best, if, not one of the best, just playmakers, passers, someone that played in the ball screen, able to make multiple reads. And, I know Tristan loved throwing those lobs off that right hand. And, this was a play that, was designed for kind of set like that flat screen, which wasn't the best right here, but right here, set this flat screen, try to get that guard to do a misdirection, and then, set that side ball screen, have that guard lift up, which, really emptied out the side for the lob. Really just practice, Tristan and I building great connections in the ball screen game throughout practice. We go really hard. We work on all different types of situations. So, me and Tristan and I have, a great relationship on the floor.
Yeah, like just that, this one here, the timing on your slips as well, I think, is figuring out like when to slip, when to make the contact. I feel like that can sometimes be a complicated thing, right? Especially when you're a bigger dude. Like this next one we're going to see, I think after this one, you go and you almost try and set this corner screen. And then what are you seeing here that you kind of anticipate that it looks like Trey and Kalkbrenner are going to end up kind of doubling the ball?
Yeah, right here it looked like, Kalkbrenner was cutting off baseline from, I believe is that Steph solo? Steph.
Steph, yeah.
Yeah, so I saw him like cut off the baseline when I went over to set the screen, and Trey went over to help, and I saw Cockburn was there, so I just slipped to the basket and realized that Steph was a high level passer. He made those great reads, and that was one of my first great plays from being back from injury.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe at the end we might talk about that, but then like another out of area catch here, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one, awesome screen into a lob, not a lob, but just like a quick little pass for a nice little out of area catch again, right? Like you have to angle your body here. It's a high ball that you were able to find. I kind of want to get into your passing as well. So let's kind of go there now, because the passing, I think, is what really sets you apart as a big. You are just ridiculous in being able to find your shooters and cutters, particularly. The things that like really stand out are the cutting, as we still like kind of run through like all these clips of you spinning and finishing, everything like that. This one's a beautiful like little up and under. It's your ability to find cutters out high that just like absolutely rules to me. I'll talk about the shooting at the end, because that's another skill set that I know there's some excitement about. I've heard you've shot it well in workouts for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This one here, what are you seeing when you're out high in circumstances like this? You guys ran a ton of sets, I think, to take advantage of your passing ability.
Yeah.
What are you seeing out high?
Just reading the defense. So right here, reading RJ Davis on how he's going Tristan. Tristan really didn't. Oh no, on. Oh, so I did pass this Tristan. Yeah, so I saw that Tristan had a step on him, and
no, you passed this one to Caravan.
I passed on this one to Cam. My fault. Yeah, so Tristan went back door. I saw that RJ Davis really had good position. He had active hands. He was moving, and I saw Alex right here. He had one step on I think it was Harrison Ingram. That right here he just has one single step. Then I could just I see his hand is literally 3 inches in front of it, and I just threw as hard as I can, just try to lead him right to the basket and put it in a spot where, and I saw Ingram's head was turned too. He really couldn't see the ball, so I just, just try to put it right where Alex could get it and just go up and score right away.
The other thing you do really, really well on the perimeter that isn't super easy for bigs your size a lot of the time is the way that you move the ball. And like you manipulate the ball like with your hands. Like a lot of guys like need to keep it like pretty steady, like in one spot, right? Like you're going to DHO, then you're just going to move. Like here you have the ball high, then you dribble twice, you pump fake this ball, you keep control of the ball, and then you're still able to throw this cutter. How did you guys kind of work on keeping control of the ball and being able to like maneuver it around in order to keep away from guards that are coming out front and trying to like rip the ball from your hands?
Yeah, just trying to be strong with the ball, of course, but just trying to have the guy guarding you, having them be active and move their hands, because they really don't know what's going on behind them. So really just keeping their hands moving, and if we just have the ball still, it's easy to make a read on where the next pass is going. And like right there, it's just also knowing the play and knowing what's going on the floor. So for me here, I see Haas. I feel like the play is we're running split games. So I was never going to give the ball back to Haas there. He's going to play on the opposite side. So, I see him running over. I think that's Farabello, going under, Haas when he came over. He went under me. And, just seeing Alex out of the corner of my eye, I think that was green. Just seeing his head turn, not seeing Tristan's screen coming. Shireman really didn't help. So, just making that read, being able to see Alex open there.
Yeah, and we're going to keep going through these. I mean, this one's just like totally ridiculous on some level to me, because like you're not even in a good position here to throw this ball, right? Like you're trying to get almost into a DHO and you see it's a reject. Is this a set play for a reject, or is this?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of just playing split games, making the read. Alex was going down instead of pitching for Cam, and Cam was going for DHO, and saw the guy was over helping. I saw that the exact time Cam saw it, and it was just something about this team was the connections, man. We knew what everyone was doing at the next moment, so I knew Cam was gonna go in there and finish that, and he makes wild shots like that all the time.
Yeah, he's got that little like one-legged like Dirk floater to find it. This one here I thought was pretty sick as well. I love what you do here to manipulate the defense with your eyes, particularly. So you're going to see eventually Caravan's going to go and like set this little like, fake screen for Steph, and then just slip it and go to the rim. And here it's just very obvious. Like, for instance, your eyes, like they're going here.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
that forces this defender here.
Exactly.
This defender goes here. And are you planning on going there the whole way, or what is your
really just
thought
reads
process?
that last second. I mean, 2 hands on the ball at all times. Don't throw the ball one hand, just so I can make that read. Coaches always say that, and that's why I was a little lofted. It's because I was looking to go at Alex. I saw the defender help at the last second, and I just kind of lofted it over there to Cam.
Yeah, it's a sick ball. It's an absolutely sick ball. This one here, you're gonna get this lob, and then you're gonna throw an absolutely disgusting bounce pass. How many of those have you thrown before? Because I feel like
I do those in practice. I'm always looking for the cutters. Passing is something that I always love to do, and I would always just try doing it as much as I can in practice. And I saw that gap open and just tried to split it through.
You have a wide number of passes in your toolbox too. You know what I mean? Like, you've got the bounce passes, you've got the cross corner kick out, you've got the whip down to the rim. How do you go about kind of developing those specific passes?
In practice, we're working on all different types of things, all the actions we're running in, on offense. I feel like it puts us in different situations to make different kinds of passes and different types of reads. So, I feel like I've really, grown as a passer because our offense has different types of styles that allows us to make, different types of reads.
And then eventually here, I think on this one, we're going to get into the short roll game, right? And this is where NBA centers really have to feast, right? And I think you got awesome at this throughout the course of the season. So take me through this as you kind of short roll here into this. Is this because you just see 2 on the ball first?
Yeah, I mean, this is something we work on every single day in practice. Is the big helping. Really when we do most short rolls is when that big is hedging and overextending on the guard in the ball screen game. We call it the fist. So when I was short rolling, just making the read on that bottom defender, seeing that the guy cut, I feel like, on this I had not the best catch, so I wasn't able to give it right to Steph. But, just making that read, seeing Ben Gold step up and help with no help side as Cam ran through there, he really opened up that backside cut for Steph.
Yep. And then
it's just stuff we work on every day. We were working on short rolls, making different reads and all that different type of stuff.
Yeah, and then this one here, this is just straight. I don't know if I'd full on call this a live dribble pass, but you're gonna catch here. You're gonna try and set this little ass out screen there for Caravan coming out quickly, and then you're dribbling, and you're just throwing this thing. Actually, it's just a full scale live dribble pass. Looking at that, that's how comfort, if you're very comfortable passing on the move, it looks like just straight up for a big man. And do you understand how not normal that is on some level?
No, I mean, I feel like passing is something I've always loved to do.
Yeah. This is throwing passes this is accurately on time. This stuff's hard for bigs. And that's what makes you such a weapon on some level. This one here, again, you're finding the cutter dead on, perfect timing. You slip it because you see 2 on the ball. Now we're going to Caravan, finishing. Again, this one, short roll, looking for the cutter again. It's like textbook and it's automatic on some level for you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's something we work on it all every day. Working on the back cuts, the different reads. We work on that every single day in practice. 3 on O's, 4 on O's, 5 on O's is something that coach really emphasizes every day. That really helps us develop those different types of reads that makes us very versatile players.
All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about in terms of your game is the jumper. So I've been told that you've gone into workouts from teams and shot quite well at this point. How comfortable are you as a shooter?
Very. I got a lot of confidence and very comfortable behind the line. At UConn, it was something that the team didn't need me to do to go win basketball games. We were winning basketball games without me shooting the 3 ball. So, I'm a team player. I'm out there doing whatever the team needs to win. So that's something that I didn't need to do at that level. But the next level, that's what it's all about is, rim 2s and 3s and, being able to be 7-2 and step behind the line and knock down the 3 ball and be able to play in the lob game. I feel like, expands, like myself as a player in so many different ways. You know, I shoot the ball with a lot of confidence. I've really worked on my form, you know, throughout the season. You know, but really this offseason, working on my form, working on a consistent shot, making sure that, you know, I shoot the same shot every time. And, you know, I've gotten a lot of confidence in my jumper, and I feel like I've shown teams that, you know, I can shoot the ball at a high level.
I'm just like stunned that I'm just like looking over at your bench, right?
Oh,
I assumed there'd be some reaction to you taking a 3 with 23 seconds left on the shot clock, and they're just like good with it. I get you're up 23. Maybe being up 23 is what
I think
makes
this made
good,
Coach
right?
happy because, you know, he's not always the biggest fans of playing at Providence. This is something I feel like made Coach happy for once.
Oh man, that's funny. No, look, like I think you have a chance to shoot it at the very least. Like, I mean, the ball comes out of your hand clean. You know what I mean? Like that's the biggest thing. And you know, you only made 58% of your free throws. I mean, this is going to be like stupid, and I swear to God, I don't mean this like in a patronizing manner at all. But you only made 58% of your free throws when the ball comes out of your hand this cleanly. Like, what can you kind of attribute that to?
Yeah, I mean, during the season, I shot, like you said, I think it was like 52, 54% from the line. You know, in the postseason, I think I ended up shooting like 73 to 76% from the free throw line. You know, really just putting the extra work in on the free throw line in practice, before practice, after practice, you know, just getting up the extra shots. And really, you know, Luke helped me with my, you know, my routine, keeping the ball on the right side of my body, you know, not leaning back as I shoot the free throws, and really just being confident out there. You know, sometimes I feel like I lost confidence at the foul line, but, you know, really gaining back that confidence, finding my form, finding the right technique and the routine that was going to help me, you know, shoot consistent at the line.
I love it. So I've got 2 questions for you before you leave. Who was the best player you played against this season?
I'll say Zach Edey for sure.
Yeah, it's been a popular answer, unsurprisingly. Yeah. Cam Spencer said nobody. UConn for life, because of course he did. Is that the least surprising answer you've heard yet?
No, I mean that's I expect nothing else from Cam. He's the biggest competitor. He loves to win, and that dude, I got a lot of respect for Cam.
Yeah, just one of my true favorites. Like truly, like one of my favorite college basketball players of the last decade.
Yeah, he's a legend.
He is. What made Zach such a difficult guard?
Just his size and how, you know, tall, strong, physical he is, and you know he was in college basketball for 4 years. He understood the game. He understood, you know, everything that was going on out there. And you know he's just so consistent with that hook. But you know, really, we locked into the game plan and we got it done.
So the thing that's interesting about that game is he scores like 16, like right off the bat, right? From like the 5-minute mark of maybe the 8-minute mark of the first half until the 8-minute mark of the second half, I think you guys held him to like 4 points or something like that. How did you adjust? Because a lot of that was you. How did you adjust over the course of that game to playing against him after you'd kind of felt it a little bit?
Wearing him out on both ends of the floor, you know, really making him work on the offensive end. I mean, on the defensive end for him, you know, putting him in more ball screens, making him run around, and really just trying to push him off the block a little bit, make the hook shots a little further. And, you know, as he's backing me down the post, just being more aggressive, making it tougher for him. And, you know, I wasn't following him. I wasn't putting him at the free throw line. You know, he's a guy who knocked down a lot of free throws. I think he shot like 400 free throws this year. So, you know, I just didn't want to put him at the line. I was just going to wall up, make him shoot this tough, you know, the tough hook shot from, you know, the Big East logo is what I always say, even though in the Final Four wasn't the Big East logo. But, you know, just from that logo area, just making it as tough as a shot as I can without fouling him.
You guys are always just like incredibly well scouted. That's the biggest thing that always stood out to me about Connecticut basketball over the course of your 2 years there. You guys just always had like the game plan, like perfectly strategized. Obviously, you know, that comes down to coaching, but how do you guys go about like implementing that game plan? Like, is it just you know, we just like kind of run out and do it? Because obviously you have another team out there that's trying to stop you from what you're trying to plan. You know what I mean? So how do you guys go about like just being, this is a ridiculous thing again, but like being better at implementing the game plan than everybody else?
I mean, we have the best staff in the country. You know, Coach Hurley, Luke, Kamani, you know, those are the 3 that really do a lot of the scouting. their guys. Luke's in the meal room at 5:30 in the morning. The next day during the tournament, watching film on the next game because we were always worried about the next game. You know what I mean? Just after we won, it was always flipping the switch. But we're putting before practice, putting 20 to 30 minutes of film of scouting and really breaking down player personnel, breaking down plays, breaking down the strategies, and then go onto the court and throughout practice you're working on we call it like quick defensive breakdown where we just did like four on four and we had our scout guys going through like what they did on offense type of strategies, and then at the end of practice we're going through 20 to 30 minutes of scout of play by play of what they run, and we really just lock in on the technique and how we're going to do to what type of ball screen coverage we're in, what kind of help we're in, and really just trying to catch on to the strategies that they're doing and take away their main players from doing what they love to do.
Yeah. No, I think you guys like consistently have been the best scouted team like in college basketball, or the best prep team in college basketball the last, at least little while.
Yeah.
Last question I have for you. What is your favorite sports movie of all time?
Sports movie of all time. Probably 42.
42. Okay, that's a new answer. Why do you love 42?
I don't know. It's a movie. I'm not a big movie guy, but it's just one of those few sport movies that I've watched a few times that I've enjoyed.
I love it. That's great. Donovan Clingan, folks. It was great to have him on the show. Anything else you just feel like you need to impart before you get out of here?
No, thank you for having me. I'm gonna miss UConn. I'm gonna miss the college days. But on to bigger and better things, and I'll always be a Husky for life.
I am excited to see where you land on Thursday night. It's going to be fantastic. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man.